Hey everybody, Hunter back again from Showtime Studios. This is going to be part 2 of the super detailing a dash tutorial that we're working on. And I went ahead and did a couple of things extra. So hopefully we can kind of kick a step out of this and still get all the information across that I want to. But as you was working on, if you were working on your dash last night and you put the black wash on it, what you should end up with at this point in time is basically something that looks like, as soon as we get the camera to zoom in here on it, there we go, we finally got it to zoom in. You can see the white on the gauges and looks like numbers and things like that. Now if you look real close in there, you will also notice that the needles are red, and you will notice some other colors on the dash there. There's little spots of orange, blue, there's a red dot in there, and also 2 green dots for the turn signal indicators. Now I went ahead and did that step, and I'll go ahead and show you how we done that and what we done it with, and explain some of the reasoning behind doing that. But as you get the black wash down and you look at your gauge, as anybody knows, you know, a lot of gauges out there, they have different colors within them. Sometimes you'll have red or blue, you know, on the dials, and you know, for like you get up to like 55 mile an hour on your speedometer on a lot of cars, it'll either be like yellow or it'll be red or something like that. So what I tend to do is go back in with the Sharpie, and just in various spots on some of the gauges, I'll add a little bit of color. You know, like 2 gauges, I'll add like a little bit of red. Another gauge, I'll add a little bit of blue into it, and all it needs to be is just a dot of it. Nothing major. Some gauges that, you know, has a full swing, which they call a 180-degree gauge. I'll go in like a third of the way up and color like one of the simulated numbers in, say in orange. And it just kind of gives some interest to the gauges, and, you know, makes it look a little bit more realistic when you're done. Now, that also is what I call fantasy detailing to a certain extent. And for you purist guys out there that are, you know, doing a replica or an exact copy of a gauge, you know, you're going to have to research and figure out what colors go within that gauge to make it as realistic as you can. Like I say, I do a lot of custom work, so, you know, I try to go in and do things that looks right and it looks the part. Now, what I did on this is I actually put it under my magnifier to do all that and to do the needles. And we'll just go ahead and basically do a quick how-to on this side over here. You can see that detail right there, and I'll do it underneath the magnifier and show you just how you know, how I go about doing it, and then we'll hold this back up and show you how it come out. So when I made mention of this lighted magnifier, this comes in very handy for this part that we're going to do right here. And I highly recommend it. I do not recommend trying to do these little gauges and the needles and things like that with the naked eye, because it's just not going to come out the way you want it to. But as you can see, all I'm going to do is just hold this. I'll pan the camera down here just a little bit so you can see what's going on. I'm just holding the dash underneath of the magnifier and using... The thing I like to use the most is these Ultrafine Sharpies. These actually come in a set of 8, I think it was, and they're like $5. You can find these at Walmart or Michael's or, you know, any of your craft stores or something like that. This is the true Sharpie brand. This is not the cheap imitation version, but these are the Ultrafine tip, which, if anybody doesn't know, it has a very small tip like that. And they come in very handy for doing this type of stuff. And I have all different colors of them. I have, like, you know, red, blue, greens. There's a lavender. There's a pink. So, you know, you have an endless array of colors in these things. So, you know, like I said, on the turn signal indicators, I just picked the green one here. And I just went in and dotted inside of those little raised detail that's on there and just put a dot. And when we go back and do our silver dry brushing, then that cleans everything up. So you don't have to be exactly perfect when you do this, but just, you know, try to keep it within the bezel itself or the raised detail. And let's see, what we're going to do next is go ahead and I'm going to color in one of the brake knobs over on this side. And we're just going to take the Sharpie. And you can also do this with a wash if you wanted to. You could do it with regular paint, but detailing these dashes like this, and especially in 1/24th and 1/25th scale, using the Sharpie works very well. And it's a pretty quick and easy way to do it. And when everything's all said and done, it looks real good. Alright, so I colored the first one in there red. And like I say, since I'm not, you know, doing, I guess what you could call a replica build, I kind of have the freedom to make these colors whatever I want them to be. So I'm just kind of going in and adding some color in the dash in these raised detail areas, just to give the dash some interest. And, you know, like I say, for the guys that are doing a replica, you won't be able to do it this way. You'll have to go with the actual colors that are on that dash. But it's not hard. It's the same thing. You just have to pick the right colors. I don't worry about a whole lot of that on my truck builds, because a lot of this stuff goes unnoticed anyway. So I just kind of, you know, do it to add a little bit of interest to the dash, and just make the model look a little bit cleaner. And like I say, you don't have to be real precise with doing this, but you want to, you know, you want to keep it as clean as you can. But if you make a little bit of a mistake and get a little bit outside the line or over top of the bezel, it's no big deal, because once you go in and start doing the dry brushing and things like that, it's going to clean all that area up for you. Let's see, we're going to put a little bit of orange in there also. And one of these brake valves that's on this dash is actually yellow, and I do not have a yellow Sharpie. So I'm just going to skip that one for right now, and I'll go ahead and do that one off camera. That'll be with a little bit of paint, same thing. I'll just put it on a toothpick like we did the wash, and I'll thin it a little bit, and I'll just drop it inside the raised detail and just let it disperse inside of it, and then that'll give us our yellow brake valve button that we need. And let me see, what other color do we want to use here? Let's see. I got a little bit darker green here. That'll work. Actually, it's more of a teal color. But you know, a little bit of time spent doing this, and it really adds a lot of interest to the inside of your model. And it really details the dash up nice and makes it look real good. More color over here. But like I say, these magnifiers are very handy, and anybody that has never used one before, if you buy it, I like this style here that has the arm on it, because I can put it wherever I need it. They also make the style like you see in Hobby Lobby and Michael's that clips on your head, and it's some of those have lights in them also. I don't like that style because I wear glasses and it really gives me a headache. But I do like this style here with the arm. It's very handy for me. And I'm going to go ahead and change over to another color here. Like I say, I'm just changing up the colors a little bit. I mean, this is nowhere near being what you could say accurate for this particular dash. But it's just to do the tutorial and to show you what you can do with a kit part to super detail it. And there's a bunch of little circles down this dash. I'm coloring those in with a different color here. Like I say, once we get into the dry brushing part of it, you'll really see the details start to pop out. And that's what brings it all together, makes it look real good. And I'll go back in with a little bit of an orange here. And I'll hold this up here in front of the camera when I'm done with this part here, just to show you where we're at. And before we move on to the dry brushing part, which will be the next video. Alright, and we're almost done. And like I say, anybody that's kind of following along with this tutorial, if you're working on your dash right now, you know, just kind of take notes. I think somebody made a comment on one of my videos. They said that they weren't going to do it right now, but they were going to take notes. But these videos are the new tutorials, so they'll be up there for you to go back to for reference. And we're almost done now. Like I say, the one that I'm going to skip on here is the one that's actually yellow. I will do that with a little bit of thinned out paint, and we'll show you how that come out in the next video. But that's using the magnifier. That's what I use it for, and the Sharpies come in very handy for this. Like I say, you can use paint if you want to, but especially if you're using paint, you want to make sure that you are doing it underneath the magnification, because it makes everything so much cleaner and it's going to look a lot better for you. If you don't have one of these, it is definitely a good investment. It works for a lot of photo etch stuff. In fact, last night I was working on my photo etched piano hinges for the California hauler, and I actually cut probably 10 minutes off of my normal time that it takes for me to bend up one set of for one door, and knocked about 10 minutes off of it using the magnifier. So they come in very handy. So we got everything colored in there on the dash, and we'll hold it back up here, and I'll show you where we're at right now. And see if we can get the camera to focus in here again. There we go. And you can see that we got a little bit of color within our gauges, and then over on this side we kind of brighten the dash up with a little bit of detail work there. And you can also go in with a another little trick that I've learned to do in the dashes is one of these mechanical pencils that I have around here somewhere. There it is. And you can actually go in and color certain areas in. If you don't want them like real black, you kind of want more of a darker gray color. You can actually go in with a one of these mechanical pencils and do a little bit of shading. And like I say, none of this is totally accurate. I'm not building an actual 359 Peterbilt dash. I'm just showing you, you know, how to use different tools and stuff to you know, bring your builds up to that next level and make them look a little bit better and a little bit more detail. And I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of this black inside of this little box here on the dash that we did 2 little blue dots in, just to kind of add a little bit of interest to that area. So like I say, there's a lot of things that you can use. And I'm doing this without the magnifier because it's a pretty big area on here, so it's not that hard to stay within the lines, within the raised detail. Okay, I got that colored in. Now, like I say, that was with the regular mechanical pencil. And see if we can get the zoom in there on it. There we go. You can see the where I used the pencil in those recesses in there. Looks pretty good. And you can really see the details starting to pop out of the dash, and it's starting to look a lot more realistic. So that's where we're at this stage. And in part 3, we're going to go ahead and do the future. Actually, in part 3, we're going to go ahead and do the dry brushing technique on the bezels, and then we'll be doing the future after that. So stay tuned for that video. It'll be coming up here I'll probably go ahead and get the dry brushing video done tonight, so that'll give you 2 videos to work with. If you have any questions or concerns on what we've done here or the previous video, just leave me a comment and let me know, and we'll see if we can help you out with that. But that's all we've got for this one, so stay tuned for the next one, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.